Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing? We are having another webinar on our portal, and boy, we have just been busy, busy, busy getting this together, just getting all kinds of incredible capability with it. And I know for a little bit of like, oh, a portal and an app, which actually it does connect with the app, but it may sound at first like a buzzword, like, oh boy, what's this? But no, actually, it's pretty cool. We're able to get a lot of capability to it, and there's just a lot more planned for it. So it's pretty exciting. So we're going to show off what it can do. I just have a couple very quick housekeeping items. I want to remind you that this is being recorded. So if you ever need to take a call or whatever, don't worry, it's recorded. But also there is a Q&A button there at the bottom of your screen, and I recommend to just click it right now so you can get that little question and answer box situated on your screen. Note that you'll be able to see the answers that we type to anyone else's questions. So it makes a great companion, but also, you want to be able to type in a question as quick as possible. So it's just nice to be prepared for that. So that's all. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm going to get this handed over to Forrest, and we will take you into the portal.
Thank you, Jer. How's it going, everyone? We're really happy to show you all this. Like Jer said, we've been working really hard on it and adding new capabilities. So hopefully when you look at it, you won't look at it with a face like Spock. Um, you'll look at it with a little more like a face like Shatner. And what we've got going on, this is me. If you've been a long time LandFX client, you may have spoken with me on the phone back in the day. I used to be a technical support specialist, and I've been with LandFX for over 6 years. The portal was very much a team effort. This is basically everyone who came together for the team. We're really, like I said, we're really proud to show this, so I wanted to give everyone props who was involved in creating this. Obviously, at the top, giving the direction from the top down, is Jeremiah and Crystal, our CEO and COO. They were able to give directives and initial layout concepts. I was the primary architect of creating the logic and code base and how everything kind of works. But it wouldn't be anything without the design team, with Paul, our art director, who created our logo and the LandFX portal logo. Jason, who's heavily involved in writing all of the content, all of the copy, and all of the text, and Kyler, who is also doing web development and design, who helps create the aesthetic of the website and the portal. So, what can you do in the LandFX portal? Of course, our primary number one was to enable you to pay your renewals through the portal with ease. You can view your license count. You can find your support dates. I know that is something that before access to the portal, it might have been a little bit tricky to find some of this information. You can find all of your old support tickets easily in one place without digging through your emails. That's also extremely convenient. If we've sent you a link or a solution to a specific problem, and then that problem pops up later, and then you say, wait, where was that solution? Edit your LandFX users list. That is the list of people in LandFX that use the software so that you can kind of see who's in there, who's doing what. And of course, your cloud data. Now that more and more of LandFX is moving towards the cloud, it's nice to be able to give you a place where you can access a lot of your cloud content. There are a couple of things in here that I want to quickly touch on before we dive into the portal. And these are primarily for security purposes. The first thing is this portal email check. I know there's a lot of text here, but bear with me real quick. I can break it down. Every company in our system has what we call a primary contact, and that's the main person that we contact for that company. Typically, that primary contact is using a company email address. So if you try to log into the portal without the same email address as the primary contact, then it won't let you in automatically, even if the support ID is correct. And that's just an additional level of security so that you know that only the correct people are logging into your portal with the support ID. Just a quick example. So if this primary contact in our system, whoops, let me go back. Primary contact in our system is user A@landeffects.com. And then the email that you're trying to log into the portal with is user B@landeffects.com. Then it'll recognize that's cool. We'll let you in, no big deal. But if we have a primary contact with landeffects.com and you try to log in with a Gmail account, then it won't let you in, and it will notify the primary contact that you're trying to log in. And if the primary contact will receive an email, and it'll say so-and-so is trying to log in, and they have the option to click and approve you in that email. And once that's approved, you'll get a little email that says, hey, you've been approved, and then you can go back and go into the portal. There are several things we wanted to lay up for security purposes, just to make sure that your cloud data is safe, your ex-employees can't log in, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I was talking about the primary contact, so that leads us right into this conversation about different portal user roles. So the two types of users in our system, like I said, there's a primary contact, and that's just flagged in our system. And then there's everyone else, right? All of the other users have configuration options. The primary contact by default is set as an administrator. The other users can be set as a standard user or an administrator, because each of those user roles have different permissions. They can also be set as an accounts payable, which is the type of person that we contact with a billing question. Here's those two different roles, administrator and standard. So if you, for instance, the primary contact is default as administrator, so they have access to editing all of the other users. They can see the payment history as well as everything else. And then the standard users have access to everything except the users list, the ability to edit the users, and the ability to see the payment history. So, of course, this portal is still, a little bit in its infancy. There were talks of adding more roles and having access to different sections, having it more granular, and we'll see depending on how everyone uses it. But so far, the feedback that we've gotten from the users is that this seems to kind of satisfy everyone's needs. Accounts payable is a flag in our system, so that this is just a separate thing from the other roles, and that's, of course, who we would contact in your organization for billing information, questions, and anything else like that. And you can have multiple users set up as different accounts payable users in our system. So, okay, so let's dive in. I hope that wasn't too many words, but let's go ahead and get into the actual portal. So right here on landeffects.com, right at our homepage, obviously it's right here up top right now. But if you're not on the homepage, you can just find your portal up here in the top right navigation and all of the different sections that are within it. Now, I've already registered for a tester account for this webinar. This is one thing to note. If you are a LandEffects user and you have a support ID, you don't necessarily automatically have a portal account. This will require you to go ahead and register. And when you register with all of your standard fields, name, username, password, email, CAPTCHA, and then here's where you put that support ID that you have. And this will allow you into the portal. So I know there was some confusion at first that everyone said, hey, I already have a support ID. Where's my account information for the portal? Well, we just want to make sure that everyone's registered with your email and it's all safe, and just go through here and it's all good. So I've already created this account and I'm going to go ahead and log in. And let's see where it goes. Okay, so here is the first slide that we talked about. This is where I'm trying to log into the portal with a Gmail account. But the primary user on our account, the primary contact, has a different company email. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, so it shows me right here that I'm trying to use it. I'm trying to log into the LandFX portal, and if the primary user on this account who receives this email clicks on this link, then it'll say, beep, bing, verification success. So again, that's just something that we wanted to make sure that you don't have any unauthorized users logging in and having access to your cloud data. Okay, so now I'm in. This is our dashboard. Right now, we have a little bit of promo running up top. We have a lot of content on here. Obviously, one of the main calls to action is to make a new ticket. So that way, if you're in the portal regularly, you know you can just go, bink, I have a question. Click that, make a new ticket. We have all kinds of stuff down here. In one place, this is just kind of nice. There's the latest things happening with LandFX, our newsletter, some new news items. There's some events. 2020 makes me sad, you guys. All of those events are canceled. Let's go on from that tab. That just makes my heart hurt. And of course, some content. This section specifically shows all of the new manufacturer content that we add. Now, we regularly add new content on such a regular basis that we thought it would be nice that you could check it out right there. There's our app, like Jared was talking about. There's some links to how to find it and install it. This is good. The little update section here shows you what the latest update version is, shows you what your version is. So that lets me know that I need to run my update. Oh wait, I am updated. We'll go check that out later. The community forum, there's always stuff going on in the community forum. So this would be a good place to pop in and check out some of those posts. And it doesn't look like I've posted anything on the forum yet. So there's my link. It'll show you your posts if you had them. So just kind of a basic dashboard with some of your, main things on it that you might want to have access to. Over here on the left is my navigation. There's me, my avatar, my username, and of course you can click here to edit your profile. You can change the image if you want. You can just make sure everything is in here is up to snuff, make sure that doesn't have a typo in it or what have you. Of course, you can log out here. Moving down on the left-hand side, the next section is account. So here's just a basic list of the information that we have in our system for your company. So standard stuff like your support ID, your expiration date, the date you purchased. Again, with that primary contact, it's nice to know who that is. So we have that displayed right here. How we have the address listed in our company. And we've just added this little button recently. So if you notice, that there's an issue with that address, you can just quickly change it and make sure that that's correct. And then, of course, we'll get a little notification on our end that you've changed the address so that we can verify that. Just a couple of quick access buttons down here at the bottom. I'm actually going to go over these in the next section. These are just here for reference in case you're lost. But this section right here, a lot of times back when I was doing technical support, people would call and they'd say, wait, how many licenses do I have? I lost track or what have you. So this is a really nice, easy place to see how many licenses you have for each piece of software that we offer. You can tell that I've got, for my test client here, Major Tom's Ground Control, I've got 5 design effects, 3 planting, 1 irrigation, and which year of FXCAD and how many I have, because obviously there's a new one every year. And a couple of these key buttons here that are really, really valuable. License management. This is the same as license management inside of AutoCAD. If you've ever viewed that screen, it shows all of your installations and who has the different licenses. Right now, it looks like my friend Brian has tied up a lot of our licenses with his test installation. So here you can adjust those. I'm sure you're familiar with this. And that's a pretty standard screen. But this over here is brand new. This is something that we've been working on, installations and installation guide. So this is really key. Sometimes we talk to you and you say, oh, I think I have a cloud server. I think it's installed on the C drive. I don't know. So we've decided to compile all that information and group your installations by installation server and installation location. So when you're working with us and you need to add a new installation, this is going to be extremely insightful for how your company has your computers and your land effects installations set up. So you can see I have a couple of different installations. There's a Dropbox one. There's some local data standalone installations. There's a couple of cloud server locations up here. And you can also kind of see when they last updated their land effects. Do a couple of quick little neat things too. You could change their computer image. And a couple of really important stuff, like let's say this is our main location and you wanted to add another installation to this location. So here's this handy little button. I'm going to add it. Are you replacing an existing installation? I'm going to say, no, this is a new machine. Okay, well, what's this? Which CAD will you use for this installation? So now what the system just did is it pulled a list of all of our licensed FXCADs for this company. This company that I'm showing only has licenses for FXCAD 2021. Now, if I had licenses for 2020 or 2019 or several others, they would all show in this list. So that's really convenient. Because I know during installation, some people install the incorrect FXCAD, just unaware or looking for the wrong link. So this is going to help filter that and make sense of that. So let's say for this new installation at this location, I want to use FXCAD 2021. Cool. So it shows me the FXCAD 2021, Land Effects Cloud Data, Workstation Installer, and it shows you which location. There's your support ID. Here's the installer download, so you can just get that exe file right there. And of course, the complete installation instructions. And we'll open that in a new tab, and it'll show you the FXCAD 2021 Workstation Installer. And this is, of course, you're familiar with this. This is really in-depth, step-by-step, everything you need. Now, we can also email these instructions because, of course, it's nice to have it in a little simple file. Where's my email? Here we go. So there it is. LandFX installation information, FXCAD 2021, the location, support ID, the instructions, and the download file. So that makes it extremely convenient for anyone trying to add a new installation to any of these existing locations. Now, what if you want to add a new server? Well, we've got this up here. And then it's going to ask you a couple of quick questions for the different type of server that you want. Obviously, we're going to recommend Cloud Data Server. It is 2020 after all, so everything's online. And if I click 2020, it's going to give me the information I need to install the Cloud LandFX server. And again, you can email those instructions wherever you want. So extremely convenient, really handy. I anticipate that in the future, this is going to kind of replace our existing installation guide once it's refined and really dialed in, so that it's going to be significantly less confusing for our end users. A couple of other quick things on here. If you see some old installations that you no longer have, you can just remove it. And it'll ask you when you're removing it if you want to replace it, because then it'll save all of these installation configuration options and let you know what you need. But if I'm not replacing that, boom, it'll just remove it so that it's gone. So that way you can kind of clean up your installation list if you have some straggler installations in our files from, 2016 or what have you, or ex-employees. So that's brand new, and I'm just really excited to show everybody. Jared, do you have any comments on this section?
Well, it's kind of neat how it looks like that Amanda Berry station has a little icon. How did that happen?
Oh, yeah. I'll just click on that bad boy, and I'll change it to this guy. Boop. I think we're going to...
I like that.
I think we're going to add a lot more icons, too, just to make it fun. And, of course, that'll stay set in the system. That'll be the icon when you load the page. So that's, let's see, that was the licenses section. We went to the installations. Obviously, add a license. That's a pretty common task you might need. So that's going to jump over to the purchase page. It's going to have me automatically logged in. It's going to show what my license count is. And then there's your options to add new licenses. And of course, pay renewal. That similarly, it jumps right to the renewal section of our purchase page. So that's really handy. We've got a couple of other options down here. Request a quote. So let's say you're hiring soon, and you're gonna buy a bunch of licenses. Maybe you wanted to fill this out and talk to sales and see what you can get. And of course, payment history. So this, here we go. I am not set as an administrator. My login is set to a standard user, those two different roles that we discussed earlier. So I want to ask our primary contact to set me up as an administrator so that I can access the users section. And what do we have here? An automated email. And I can click on the link. Bing. All right. Now, if I refresh the page, I can see the payment history. And of course, this is just a list of all of the invoices that have been paid in our system. You know, just pretty standard what the licenses were, how much was paid, maybe an invoice number, and what have you. So a really good reference for the different things that you need to access for your license down here. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next section in the left side, data. All right. How do you pronounce data? Is it data or data? I like Star Trek.
It's totally optional, whichever one you want.
Now, with cloud data, there's a lot of content that's tied to your account available through the LandFX Cloud. There's obviously a project list. If you're a cloud data user, you can access that here. Your custom plants is accessible here, and then custom plant user fields is also accessible. So let's pop into these one by one and see what we got here. So projects, it looks like just a small list of what's showing in my projects. Now, of course, you'll notice that same thing in here. If you go into CAD and you go to LandFX projects, you'll see the exact same list. So that's populated via cloud. And there's just a couple of things in here. You can see just a quick overview of what's in that project. So this Palisades project, here's that it has some site amenities and one plant, so it doesn't look like a big project. This project, however, has 69 plants in it. It has 17 details. It has 32 irrigation equipment attached to the project. Has some site amenities. So that's a bigger project, and it's just nice to have just a quick, handy overview of what each one is. You can also, while you're here, edit the description if you want. And that's basically the gist of it. There's also preference sets. As a reference, you can see what preference sets are in the cloud. More importantly, over here on the left-hand side, I have this import projects button. So this guy is particularly handy when you have multiple LandFX projects from an old installation that you need to restore, or if you have recently converted your installation from a local data standalone to a cloud data. Because a lot of times what happens is you'll have a local installation with dozens of projects, and it's all in a local database. And you convert to cloud, currently, or in the past, rather, you would have to import those projects to the cloud one by one. So we thought it would be really convenient to provide access to a little drag and drop interface where you can grab a couple of projects. Let's grab these ones right here. And you can just pop them in. And it does a little pre-check. It's really smart. So it shows, oh, okay, so this one is already in the cloud database. Then it gives you some options. You can rewrite it with this one in case the one that's in the cloud is old. You just click no, or you can even change the project number and still import it if you need a reference. But right now, I'm not going to do any of those. I'm just going to remove it from the list. The pre-check shows that all of these files are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and upload. So this is sending all of that data to our AWS cloud system. It's going one by one, but here you can group them all together and just send them up the cloud, which is really convenient. So now if I go in my project list, here it shows all the ones that I just uploaded. So that's really convenient. That's going to save a lot of time, especially for cloud conversions. So it's a brand new tool, and we're proud to present it to you. I'm going to go back. So that was the project list. Let's go check out some plants. So what this is doing right away is it's limiting the plant list to only the custom plants that my company has added. So these are just the specific ones that I added. You're familiar with that section, right? If you go into the plants, and I know this is kind of a point of confusion for some people, but if I add a new plant right here, it's going to show up in the plant database, but it's only going to be accessible for me because it's a brand new plant. It hasn't been vetted. We don't know if it's correct or not, so we don't want to let it be available for everyone. So these are the ones that I've added that have not been vetted or approved. Now, of course, once our plant lady, Molly, vets the plant, as she does, she'll go through one by one and make sure that they're legit. If she approves it, then it won't appear here anymore, because once it's approved, if I uncheck this, it will show up in the main plant database, accessible for everyone. So this is a quick and easy way for you to reference the plants that you've added versus the plants that are vetted and in the giant plant database that we offer. So hopefully that helps kind of understand the nature of the plant database and how it works with your brand new plants. Cool. Over here, this is also a little bit confusing at first. Plant user fields. So this is a section where you can edit the custom information that you want to have for each plant. And I'll show you real quick where that's located. If you're over here and you edit a plant, there's this little button down here, plant data. If I click that, it's going to expand and it's going to show all of this standard data that we have in our system, but then it's going to show custom fields down here. And so this is a system, a plant organization that I was speaking with Amanda with recently that isn't in the main database, so I've added it as a custom option. Now, there's a couple of cool things you can do with this. You can rearrange the groups. You can add new groups. You can delete some. Let's say I never use this one, so I'm going to delete it. Yeah, now it's gone. And then also, low, medium, high, if these are out of order, you can just rearrange them. And then you can add new groups as well, this top level group, and then all of the data beneath it, you can add more of those. And of course, all of those changes are cloud-based, so you can see that it's referenced here and that those changes have been applied. So that's really handy because there's a lot of particular designers that need more data with their plants than the data that we have in our database. So this is a way for you to customize your data output of exactly what you need on your plant schedule and everything else. So that's pretty cool. That's a lot of stuff. That's the data section. Let's go ahead and move on and check out the next section here, support. Now, of course, this is where we'd like you to go if you have a problem and search for it first, because we have a really extensive knowledge base. Most of the problems that you'll come across, you'll have a solution to, and it will be located right here in our knowledge base and documentation. But if you can't find that particular issue, then of course you can make a new ticket right here. We've got a couple of other buttons over here that we haven't seen. We've seen installations and install guide, but we haven't seen feature requests. So this is just a little section that is showing some of the feature requests that are out there on our forum. Let's see, it doesn't look like I have submitted any, but if I want to submit one, I can just go ahead and fill this out real quick and it will automatically post to our forum. But you know, please check out the existing ones and search our documentation before you post a feature request. schedule a training. This is pretty handy. Just a quick little form that you can fill out because we do offer personalized training sessions where we'll go via Zoom to your office and teach you exactly what you need to know to make your workflow better. So let's say I want a dozen people. We need to learn more about irrigation. It's going to ask you what the best times, what the best dates, and what times during those dates are available. Fill all that out so that we have a good idea of, give us 3 options so we know how to schedule it, make sure we're using the right time zone, and then submit it, and then we'll get right back to you. So that's going to streamline a lot of confusion, a lot of back and forth emailing. Just fill out that form and let us know when the best days are for you. Down here, we have support history. So this is going to show you a list of some of your previous tickets. This is a really, really good feature because previously you could only see 1 ticket at a time in our system. So we want to enable you to go search for your old tickets or just poke around and see, here's the training session request that I had previously filled out. Here's an old ticket that shows the back and forth emails between me and the tech that helped me solve my problem. And let's say there were more than this here and I didn't remember what that was. I could be like, where was that one? I know there was something. Oh, CAD's slow. That's right. There's the ticket and here's the information that you need. So it's a pretty slick little system, and you can make sure that you can access any of your old tickets by searching or just by poking around through them to get the info you need. We want to make sure that you have access to everything. So that, my friends, is the support section. Over here on the left, we have the users section. Now, if you recall, when I went to go access the payment history page, it wouldn't let me in until the primary contact approved me. So now that I'm approved, I do have access to this page. And on this page, we just don't want everyone in here poking around and changing all of these settings willy-nilly. So that's why it's restricted. Now, as an administrator, I can now get into this page. And I can manually change who else is an administrator. So if I click edit, obviously I can change their name. If there's a typo, I can make sure that their title is correct, make sure their email is correct, their phone number. I can delete them if they're a former employee. I can set them as an administrator or a standard user, and we can unsubscribe them from our email newsletter, which I wouldn't recommend because then you'll miss out on all the good stuff. So let's say, yeah, I wanted to change them to, oh, I didn't change them as an admin. Let's make sure they're an administrator as well. Now you'll notice this section over here, this is accounts payable. This is, like I said, who we'd contact if, if an invoice doesn't get paid and we need to contact somebody. And you can add several people to your accounts payable section. There we go. Larger companies obviously have a fleet of accounts payable people, so you can have whoever is ready for those contacts for us. There's a little key that's just reminding you of the things that I've already discussed about which user role has access to which sections, in case there is a little bit of confusion. The primary contact, we don't allow you to change it here because that is really essential in our system, that we make sure the primary contact is legit and vetted. But if you do want to change it, there's this little create a ticket over here, and then fill out this support ticket. Let us know if the primary contact needs to change. For the most part, that is pretty standard. Our primary contact is typically legit, but we want to give you the option to change it should you need. So that is basically the rundown of the users section. Um, and yeah, Jer, how's it going?
Oh man, I was a little slow on clicking the mute button there. Very good, yeah. And I think now, did you have anything to kind of show some of our mini ideas for the future, or should I just say some of them?
Yeah, I didn't really have those prepped as
That-
far as slides or anything.
That's why I thought,
But
because we've got because tracking in our project management system and everything, we've got all those. But I mean, as Forrest showed, I mean, obviously we've got there's the project data is in there, and all the stuff that we're looking at. For instance, having schedules integrate with this so that you could then have a web-based portal to your schedule to then, even just print it directly from that, give someone a unique link to that, which would be, every time you run the schedule would update there. So they could just have that link, which is the, automatically updated quantities, eventually hopefully integrate with nurseries or even a contractor bidding system. I mean really the sky's the limit when you start to think of this. So we're really looking at getting those sorts of needs and ideas coming from you guys so we can prioritize. I mean we can come up with the ideas, but helping us prioritize those ideas is very key. And but obviously at first we were focused on the things that directly affect our time here, so helping with people checking on their account, paying their renewals, tech support tickets, all that custom data, all that stuff should ideally take a real hit from our more kind of tedious tasks on the tech support and sales side, so that obviously when you do need to call us, you'll be more able to spend some time with you on the more complex issues. So always my philosophy with development is low hanging fruit first, right?
yeah,
Then we'll worry about building the really cool tree.
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
but that's it. And then also I guess we didn't mention that this is also LinkedIn, because you got the thing there for the app. It is the same account that's used on the forum and on the app, so everything linked together. No, we're not harvesting all that data. We're not one of those companies. But what's nice is it just means you have one login for the forum, for the portal, for the phone app. And they can conceivably be linked in that you could watch the latest power tip video, and it would remember that or something. But right now we're just, like I said, I don't care about harnessing that sort of data. I'm just more interested in simplicity of the system. But that's about all I can think of. Can you think of any other things to wrap up with?
No, I think that's the basic gist of it. You did mention that we have a lot more plans in the future, but again, that is the future, and we would love to get more feedback from our users. So I've been able to talk to a couple of users about the portal in particular, and so it's really enlightening for us to hear from you about how you use it and how you like it and how you think it could be better.
Exactly. So I guess without any further questions, I think we're going to call it then. And so do please check it out and give us your feedback. It's just yet one more thing we will continue to develop away, and wish everybody a very safe and happy weekend.
Okay, thanks everybody.